This week on the Brandon Gonez Show, why is the city of Toronto suing a Good Samaritan that is just trying to save people's lives? Plus, should they stop playing O Canada at the start of sports games? And will Caribana be canceled this year? Only I have the details. Also, in your voice, we had Pun the Avenue to check in and hear about the fight to save Little Jamaica. Also, in Open and Honest, there's a poem, and trust me, it's gonna leave you with chills. But in good news, we're gonna cheer you right back up. So the Brandon Gonez Show, it starts when? Right now. Welcome to another episode of the BG Show. Listen, can you show your boy some love right now and just tap that subscribe button and also tap that notification bell and follow us on your socials if you don't mind? Just doing that right now, really quickly. Thank you so much, because music you can use, it's time for that. Okay, so why is the city of Toronto suing a Good Samaritan that is just trying to save people's lives? It's a question that I know is on a lot of your minds, it's been on my mind. So let's break it all down for you, because the Good Samaritan's name, you've probably heard about him already. His name is Akil McKenzie, and he's a carpenter in Toronto that basically builds tiny homes for people who are homeless, so they're not out on the streets cold.
Yeah, I heard about this a while back.
Yeah, it's a popular initiative. I mean, he's already gotten so much media attention, including down south on Good Morning America. He's also raised more than $200,000 on GoFundMe from people who want to see him build more tiny homes. But the city's not having it. They stepped into the room and they have some concerns. So let's break it down. Let me tell you what they had to say. So they wrote this to us here at the Brandon Gonez Show. They said, to be clear, we are not suing Mr. Seavright. We are simply asking the courts to order that no more structures be placed or relocated on city property. And the thing is this, the city does have some right for concern, and I'll tell you why. It's because they've seen, and there has been reports of a massive amount of more encampment fires from 2019 to 2020. How much, you're probably asking? Well, a 250% increase. Wow. So basically what the city wants is that they would prefer to have people inside in shelters rather than outside.
When did you say that was? From what time to what time?
From 2019 up until now.
When did he start? Around that time?
He started just around the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Khalil believes that the city kind of is off base here. Take a listen.
The problem is not the tiny shelters. The problem is that Toronto's most vulnerable people are falling through the cracks. Toronto shelters are too often at capacity. People tell me they have nowhere to go. The money the city is spending to attack me right now could be put into safe housing for those that need it.
And you know what? Khalil has a point.
They should work with him.
That could be a solution. And I don't know if anybody watched last week's episode, because I hope you did. Because if you did, you would have seen that in last week's Your Voice, we actually went to encampments. We went inside and we got an exclusive look and we spoke to people who are in these scenarios. And they actually told us here at the Brandon Gonez Show that they are afraid to go inside shelters for various reasons, including the risk of contracting COVID-19. And some even told us that they don't feel safe. Here's the receipts.
I see people in here, and I see over there you got a 64-year-old woman. Very nice, not a drug addict, nothing. And the same reason she can't stand shelters.
So here's the question, BG Squad. We're not picking a side here. We want you to pick a side. How do you think this matter should be resolved? Do you think the city is justified in their actions here? Or do you think they need to have several seats? All right, guys, we want to update you on a story. Remember that deadly tow truck turf war? Remember I couldn't say that word a couple weeks ago? You can say it now. Yeah, that turf war that's happening in the Greater Toronto area. We talked about it just a few weeks ago. It's all about this turf war, and basically what they want is control over highways in Southern Ontario. Well, did you know 2 more officers have now been charged in connection with this tow truck turf war? One of their names is Constable Bindo Showen. The other is Steve Grosjean.
Constable?
Yes.
So a police officer?
A police, two 2 police officers.
Oh.
Here's a picture of what one of them looks like. Take a look. This is Grosjean. I believe that's how you say it. My French isn't the best. I apologize to our Francois. But listen, he's been charged with breach of trust. And this is a long-time police officer too. In fact, he has been on the force for 33 years and is the highest ranking officer to be facing charges. So just to count it for you, there have now been 6 officers charged in this tow truck turf war.
The turf war runs deep.
Mad deep and deadly too, because just in case you forgot, it has claimed the lives of at least 4 people thus far. So when I said that this whole entire situation is messy, let's just say it just got messier. Should they stop playing O Canada at the start of sports games? I know, that's gonna get a lot of people riled up right now. Dakota, what do you think?
In Canada or generally?
Just in general.
No, I don't think so.
Chris, what do you think?
I don't know. I need some context before I continue.
Oh, you want some more context?
Oh, boy.
Oh gosh, you
Oh,
don't pay for the
boy.
context? Scare you here, you doing your job. All right, I'm asking you that because of an opinion piece that was published in the Toronto Star, where basically the writer said that it makes no sense to play national anthems any longer because of the fact that there's nobody actually in attendance watching these games in stadiums and arenas. I want to show you a piece of what he wrote. Take a look at your screen, because he went on to say this. In these days of COVID-19 restrictions, it's fair to ask why O Canada is being played when there's no one to hear it. Even the TV network carrying the Toronto-Calgary hockey game didn't bother to show much respect, cutting away as it did to air some commercials instead of broadcasting the anthem. It's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting. Because when I was reading about this story and researching this story, you know what was really interesting for me?
What? Tell us.
It's what some people can get away with and some people cannot. And you probably are starting to feel where I'm going here, right? Feel it with me.
Yeah.
Feel it with me.
I feel it with you.
Feel it with me. I'm talking Colin Kaepernick. Okay? Do you remember back in 2016, he took a bold stance against police brutality by kneeling while the U.S. national anthem was being played? And you remember all the hoopla and criticism that he got?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me run some more receipts for you. Take a look.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
And listen, even right here in Canada, basketball players from the Raptors were criticized for refusing to stand during the national anthem in the midst of the racial reckoning that we witnessed in 2020. But all of a sudden, it's now okay to ask the question of, should we stop playing O Canada, our national anthem, at the start of a sports game because there's no one in physical attendance? Anyways, I don't want to get too messy, but BG Squad, I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think the anthem is irrelevant, or does it still need to be played before a sports game? Let us know right now in the comment section. So is Caribana going to be canceled this year?
I think so.
Are you disappointed?
I am.
Have you been working on your wine?
I don't need to work on it.
Chris does.
I don't do no whining.
You don't do no whining?
And I do supporting.
Or you need some support. I'm joking. But listen, I have some exclusive information for you. And the reason why we're talking about this is because you've probably heard, or maybe you haven't, but the City of Toronto, they recently announced that the cancellation of major events will be happening for events leading up to July 1st. Listen to this. Look up.
The city is extending the cancellation of in-person, city-led, and city-permitted outdoor major events from March 31st to July 1st.
So that means Canada Day, done. Pride, done. Caribana, I don't know, or Toronto Caribbean Carnival, whatever you call it, it's still up in limbo right now. But typically though, as we know, the parade happens either the last weekend of July or the first weekend of August, depending on the year. But preparation for the parade starts long before that. In fact, if it were to take place this year, like the band launches, for example, would have to happen in April. But listen, your boy went into his Rolodex and we had to call up a few sources. Yes, we have sources here. You didn't know? You didn't know we're connected like that? Of course. So the sources that are in the with Caribana. Ina. I'm joking. But this is what they told me, okay? This is what they told me, so now I'm going to tell you. That there will likely not be a festival this year. So they are preparing for a virtual event just like last year. But they are also preparing for a smaller sized event, just in case they are given the green light to go ahead with an in-person parade. So basically they are preparing for all different scenarios. The thing is though, if they were to cancel Caribana this year, we do have to really highlight the effects, the negative effects that it's gonna have on so many people. I'm thinking revelers, parade goers, and it definitely is gonna be crippling for people who have businesses that rely on this parade. In fact, we spoke with the former face of the parade, of the festival, Azalea Hart. This is what she had to say. Look at this.
If we lose Toronto Caribbean Carnival for 2021 as well, it affects not only the people who like to attend, but it actually affects a lot of people who are dependent on that income that's generated during that time of year. This is these people's livelihoods, from mass men, designers, DJs, promoters, the corn suit man. There are so many people who really rely on the money that is made during Carnival season.
And on top of all of that, let's not forget that Caribana itself generates nearly $500 million in economic activity in Ontario alone.
Shout out Caribana. Jeez.
Definitely. But
Okay.
remember, there's so many people that come in from the US as well for this, right?
Exactly, and that's all part of that economic impact. So it really goes back to the question. I would love to hear from you guys right now. We know COVID obviously is still a serious issue, but do you think Caribana should be canceled this year? Let us know in the comment section as you do your stiff wine. In the meantime, as you know, so many of us love our jobs. I love my job. I love my job now. I love my job now. You love your job, Bert?
I do.
Better love your job. Some of us don't love our jobs, though. In fact, I have a story about this one guy who hated his job so much that he woke up one morning and chose violence against himself.
How much people are choosing violence?
Everybody. But look at this. Look, I want you to take a look at these pictures of this guy because his name is, guess, Brandon. Okay, and he doesn't work on our team, I promise you that. He's 19 years old and he lives in Arizona. And when he was found by police, he told them that he was kidnapped because people were looking for money that his dad had. Yeah, but listen to this. Those were all lies. The man was telling lies upon lies upon lies because you see that belt tied around his hands? No. Guess who did that? Himself. Brandon. Brandon did that. The man faked his own kidnapping because he didn't want to go to his job at the tire factory.
No, I can't.
No, I can't either. My lips are dry. My lips are dry because, Brandon, I don't have it for you. And I have nothing to say. Only this. Run it.
Excuse me. You're doing too much.
Well, I could also tell you this. Brandon no longer has a job at the tire factory. He can no longer check in there. He now checks into jail where he's been charged.
Oh.
Hey, well, that's your news you can use for the week. Hey, BG Squad. On this week's Your Voice, I wanted to bring you to a community that's been in existence for more than 50 years. We're talking Little Jamaica. It's known for its vibes, its culture, its authenticity, but now it's at risk of being no more. Let's find out why. So Nika, tell me a little bit about Little, or I guess I should call it Little Jamaica.
Yeah, well, Little Jamaica, it was one of the homes of Caribbean immigration, right?
Yeah.
So we have the 60s, 70s, 80s of our immigration system opening up.
What does Little Jamaica mean to you?
You know, for me, it's just really about like being able to be myself. I was born and I raised in Jamaica. You know, choosing to live in this neighborhood was, you know, reconnecting with my identity, my cultural heritage. My mom went to Vaughan Road Academy. My grandmother lived in Winona. She immigrated here in the 70s. It's home.
A lot of Black entrepreneurs came and settled here, so we have a lot of food stores. We have a lot of hair.
Smell it.
As soon as you get here.
No, I'm hungry
right?
already, eh?
Listen.
This is a cultural hub. To others from the outside external, look at it as, you know, a consumption of goods. You go to a barber shop to cut their hair. But for me, my barber is like a father figure to me.
Some of these businesses have so much like history behind them. Like I know, like even like the record store, right?
Treasure Out. This was in the era of vinyl, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
reggae was brought here to Toronto first in Canada.
Little Jamaica has a sense of place. It has a vibe that you can feel, sense of community.
where are we going to get our services if it's not by our own people? And so Little Jamaica becomes that for us. It's where we can get our food, we can get our clothes, we can get our hair products. There's a lot of barbers.
As we're walking along this strip, I can't help but notice like all of the empty businesses.
Yep.
What's happening to them?
So, from the Eglinton construction alone, we've lost 140 businesses. And
Like, look at this. All the empty storefronts.
Literally.
We can see the LRT construction and it's taking a huge toll on the businesses. But we also found out that there's a plan for the neighborhood. It's called Eglinton Connects. And we noticed that in that plan, Little Jamaica was not mentioned. While we are, resilient as Black people, the places that we call home, the places where we live, we can't say the same for those places.
Jason, can you tell me the name of your business?
This is called Casual Beauty Salon Enterprise. Casual is the longest running salon on Eglinton West.
How have things changed for you?
From the arrival of Metro Links, and even before that, you can see they were preparing the area for a form of a gentrification. Metro Links' arrival was the icing on the cake.
You'll kind of get to see, how much barricades and how much obstacles there are for folks to actually even see businesses.
I had a bus stop right here.
Yeah.
They took out the bus stop, and then they blocked off the road. So people come off the bus and they walk and they come in, because we're right at the front. So that's eliminated. What else they've done? The parking. They limit the parking because parking was more. But because of their whole construction, parking is less. And they're the ones parking there. So your clients have nowhere to park. So they'll tell you that, okay, this thing is gonna be a certain way, but you're not gonna benefit from it. You understand what I'm saying?
Because you won't even survive the construction.
You won't survive it. Now, these things that we're getting in COVID time, I wasn't getting this as a business during Metrolinx time. So excuse me when I say that COVID has been more generous to my business than Metrolinx arrival.
For folks who might not know what Black Urbanism TO is, tell me a bit about the organization.
The founding of this organization was rooted in the displacement that's happening here in Little Jamaica. We didn't want Little Jamaica to get lost in the shuffle. We didn't want it to get displaced. And so we saw the need to intervene.
Right now, we've actually put together a GoFundMe called the Black Business Grant to help business owners out of the pandemic.
Have you been able to help any businesses thus far?
Yeah, we've actually been able to give to 4 business owners, which has been incredible.
We want to look at how we can activate that opportunity for businesses to make sure that, they can maintain their space and have a presence in Little Jamaica.
You know what I find just like crazy? So many areas, in the city, they had their name on the map, like Greektown, Little Italy. But Little Jamaica didn't have that on the map.
Right. And I think that that's such an important piece. That's one of the things that we really want to start bringing up and having this conversation of, let's get Little Jamaica branded.
I feel like we should, promote it and celebrate it and actually allow it to reach its potential, because we can't honestly say that opportunity has been provided.
And on top of all of these challenges, these businesses now also have to deal with the pandemic. So what will become of Little Jamaica? Only time will tell. Hey BG Squad. So this week I was sitting at home and I got this message from a friend, and it asked me to watch this video, this poem. And the title of the poem is called Historians. And after watching the video, I was left speechless. I had chills. I was moved. And I said to my team, we have to talk about this poem on the show. So I want to introduce you to the poet. His name is Akil McKenzie.
Historians. Do you know a black man without a job? I don't. For the moment we are born, we are given the part-time job as a warrior. Because every day, we will have to fight for our lives.
Akil, thank you so much for doing this interview with us. I want to talk about this poem because I'm going to be really honest. It moved me.
it gave me shivers, it gave me chills. And I know you wrote this right after the death of George Floyd. So what was the motivation?
The motivation really was this state of not knowing what to do. Because I found every time a situation like the George Floyd murder happens, first I feel mad, then it happens again, I feel sad, it happens again, I feel tired, and then that just goes on repeat.
I am tired that every Black History Month, when I go to write a poem, I have new material to talk about.
To see my brothers and sisters marching down the streets and being attacked, violated, and killed over them fighting for their rights, I was just in this space of like, what else is there to do? So I wrote this piece, and I was hoping this piece would provide two things, and that's one, hope for the people in whom are affected by everything that is happening, and then secondly, understanding for the people who aren't affected.
My first thought when I seen authorities to put my hands where they can see them and my skin where they can't.
I feel like every second of that 4-minute video for the poem, I was captivated. And I was captivated by the name historians. Why did you choose that name?
I chose the name historians because I figured that's kind of what we all are in a way. Like we really grow up being told very specific things, like you have to work 200% in order to get something that anyone else will have. You need to know that these people died and these things happen to Black men and women that look just like you. And if you don't know this, this is going to happen to you next. When you get arrested, you need to have your hands on the wheels when they come in, and you need to make sure you explain everything you're going to do.
There's this line in your poem.
Part-time warriors, but full-time historians.
That hit me like right here. But explain to our viewers, what does that line mean?
It is based off of the fact that once you come out of the womb and that color is on your skin, that is going to be what people see first for the rest of your life. You know, like before you see Akil, you see a Black man walking towards you. And whatever you think in your head about what that means, a Black man walking towards you, that's what you're going to think of me first before you get to know me. And then hopefully I'm able to change whatever that perspective is. And you can see me as myself.
Which part was the hardest part to write?
The hardest part for me was when I got to the point where I needed to write down the people's names.
August 5th, 2014. John Crawford III, 22 years old, Dayton, Ohio. September 16, 2016. Terrence Crutcher, 40 years old, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Eric Gardner, Michael Brown Jr., Trayvon, Oscar. Floyd.
I would have to like stop and take a break and be like, no, I can't, I need to just relax my mind. But then I couldn't stop and take a break to relax my mind because I'm like, who am I? You know, like so many people before me went through so much more in order to push to where we are today. How can I say I'm feeling upset or this is hurting my mental health? I need to push through this to create this for so many, past, present, and future. And that was really the most difficult part in the creation process for me. Just the feeling the pressure of everything and everyone and just wanting to do it right.
One of the ways that you end off the poem, and I want to make sure I read it correctly, is that you say, we are historians and the job description is Black.
We are historians. And the job description is Black.
For people who are not Black, and I'm sure so many people who aren't Black felt something when they watched your piece, what was the last thing that you wanted them to leave with?
Help. You know, like literally you have You have people down the street who have cousins that are dying, they're losing their family member. And in that, you're losing your own self because you're like, yo, when is this going to happen to me? You know, and we really just want to get to live life and get to be happy and be those people that get to express themselves as creatives and go rip it up on the dance floor and be happy. Like all we're looking for is to just live. And that's not a lot to ask for, because that's something everyone wants to do. I find it heartwarming to see that 2021 has started. We are on the precipice of change. We are the farthest we've ever gotten thus far, in terms of having so many ethnicities and cultures all pushing the same story that we want to have pushed. And it just touches me to see that, like, hey, the trend was a few months ago. We still have the support right now.
Thanks for opening up. Thanks for sharing your creativeness, your art. Thanks for being open and honest, my guy.
Thank you, Father.
Did you feel that? Because I did, just like the first time I watched it. And if you want to follow Akil, take a look at his handles and show him some love as well. All right, let's change pace here a little bit, right? Because it's time to get into, you know what it is, good news. All right, we've made it to one of my favorite segments, good news, because we love to share goodness, and we got a lot of goodness to share with you. As you know, so many people have been believing in what we're doing and believing in this show. And just like you at home, but also partners, including our newest partner that I'm so excited to announce, Mary Brown's Chicken. And you know why this makes me so excited? Is because they are Canadian and they just have that East Coast hospitality, that flair. They're actually originated from St. John's, Newfoundland. They've been in operation for 50 years and they believe in what we're doing. And you know, we love to make sure that we take care of you guys. So they actually have this special promotion that's running right now. It runs until March 21st. And all you have to do is get Appy. What do I mean by that? You just have to download their app. And if you do that, guess what you get?
What? Free
Mary Browns for a year. You could win that. Yeah, you can win that. You excited? Chris, are you excited? It's exciting.
I'm excited as you.
Yeah. Take a look at this. Oh my goodness, isn't that simple? All you gotta do is get Appy, download the Appy, then you'll be happy. I don't care, no, I think I'm funny. I do. Burns, am I funny? Anyhow, it's clearly time for the show to come to an end. So please remember this. If you have any stories that you want to share with us or that you want us to tell, email us, news@brandongonezshow.com. And don't forget to tap that notification bell. Hit that subscribe button. Share the video if we made you smile. And follow us on our socials. PG Squad, I say it all the time. We love you for watching.